Welcome back to Dagryffyn Hobby. My name's Dave. I have a little track clearance issue I need to take a look at. I was running my T1 last night, I guess for the first time in a while, and it kept stopping back in the corner. So after a few times of it stopping, I figured I should take a look. So I go back there and I see that it's hitting one of my rock walls. Apparently I hadn't run that engine since I took all of this off and put it back. So now I have to go digging. I have to take a lot of this off, get in there, and carve down the wall. The T1 was swinging too wide and hitting this rock formation. So I carved a bunch of it down. I didn't get video of the whole process. Sometimes I just need to work unbothered by trying to film it. So I didn't quite get the whole thing, but what I did was I carved it down, tried to make it look a little bit better, make a little more clearance, and then painted it a couple of very thick layers and dropped a bunch of dirt and small stones and little sticks into it to give it some texture. And I mean, it's still all one color because, well, that's as far as I've gotten, but it adds some interesting texture in addition to just using the foam. I really don't know how well it shows up on the camera, especially with the flash on. The flash kind of washes out all the shadows and the detail. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you may have a good idea of how this layout has progressed or come to be in the state that it currently is. If you haven't been here for a while, let me tell you a little bit about it. I am not the best at planning. There's a certain amount of planning I can do, but then after that, I just need to be hands-on. We all work in slightly different ways, and that's fine. The problems that I face because of that approach are spots like this one here, where I'm left with a space. I really can't find a good solution for the scenery or how I'm going to build it up. I mean, if you want to think about it this way, this layout is 3 completely separate levels just floating on top of one another. I tried to make the upper loop fit within the confines of the lower loops so that I would kind of have a general form that I was following. This upper loop, however, doesn't follow that shape, so I'm left with a very tough spot to deal with. I could do a couple things at this point. I just don't know that any of them are going to look right to me. But then this isn't exactly a spot that I'm going to be standing and looking at. It's really stuck behind this front mountain, and I probably very rarely look at it from this angle. But still, I feel like it has to make some sort of sense. And right now what I've got is a floating mountain and tunnel portals to a space that shouldn't be a tunnel. What I was just working on with these 2 tunnel portals and the one that I just put against the wall was that I could put them there and then cut a section out of the uppermost level and put a bridge there so that the space would make a little bit more sense, but then still the middle loop is floating in the middle. I'm really thinking the only thing that will make even the closest amount of sense is to somehow close up the bottom loops and put some tunnel portals so that we have one big wall there, and it will then make sense with them all coming out of the mountain. I just really don't know how I'm going to make that work with the middle or upper loop floating over the outer loop on the bottom and the upper loop floating over the top of them. I had an idea, and that was to cut out a ravine in the uppermost loop and put a bridge and then these tunnel portals, but I'm just really not liking the way it's looking. So I think now that I've been thinking about it and talking about it, I'm going to see if I can mock up some sort of full wall with tunnel portals for the lower loop. I really think that's probably the best I can do. And then I'll make it removable so that I can get back there. I think really what I need to do is just make it look okay for the spot that I'll actually be able to see. And that's where I stuck that foam. Below that, I'm really not going to see down there enough that I'll care what it looks like. And I'd rather leave it somewhat accessible than close it all up and mountain. I'm actually at the moment wondering how much I can reach from the other side. Got this door that comes out. I can reach enough into it to recover any pieces that might get derailed in there or stuck. I should be able to clean it. I might have to put, like a cleaning pad on a post just to get the extra foot or two. I mean, at the moment, all these upper loops can come off the layout, but obviously that's not going to be the case once things get more permanent. I do have this door over on this section so I can take it out and I can reach a good part of the way in. That might just have to be good enough. I can always do something with the structure under here so that I have a little bit more access to. And that's not going to matter as much because you won't see it. So in a very roundabout way, I think I have a plan. And that smaller piece, that thin piece that's like an inch and a half thick that's floating there, maybe if that's another inch or two, that will really block out the rest of the open space that I won't even see it. There are a lot of things on the layout that feel like a compromise. So this compromise kind of being hidden back here, I'm not really concerned about it. I think I just want to pick something and move forward. Just using some scraps here, and I think it's going to work fine. I do dislike when I forget things like cutting that bottom piece I just cut to fit the contour of the support for the track, but I will just angle that and whittle it away. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Okay, so this is good enough, at least for now. It adds a visual barrier to this middle loop, and it's dark enough down there that it's not obvious from the middle of the room that there's kind of a void. Based on the angle that you view the layout, this will look good. You'll see this from different angles, but you really aren't going to see down there. So I'm just going to leave that open and make a note of this sort of thing for the next layout. Besides, with it open, then I can see the engine I've got back down there on the track. Speaking of that track, the track that we saw on the other side comes through back there and goes across the back and then out the front. Is it going to go anywhere after that? No, but I can attach a transformer to this track and then run an engine or a car or something out along this track so that you can see it from the other side of that hill. So I had figured if I just put an engine there or something like that, I would probably never be able to get it. This way, as long as it runs when I try to move it, I can run that engine out and back into this corner and get it out and then put something else back there. This is the back of that tunnel portal area I was just working on, and you can see from here how open it is on the bottom. But, like when I started this layout, I was going to have all the insides of the tunnels detailed and painted and, as realistic as possible. And at this point, I really need to just put that aside because I will never make progress if I'm worried about inside the tunnel. So I've got some detail and texture in here. I might do a little bit more on walls like this, but I'm not going to worry about making it really detailed. I probably won't even paint it in addition to the brown paint that's on it. Texture these areas and then just give it a light coat of paint and call it done. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Dagryffyn Hobby.